So, I've got a great idea.
All right. I'm a little hesitant after your last one.
No, this is going to be great. We're going to remake a George Romero classic.
Oh, George A. Romero,
That,
the zombie guy.
yeah, that guy.
Oh,
You know.
awesome. Dawn of the Dead, fantastic. I like the Zack Snyder one, but I mean, I think
No, not that one. Snyder did it, and the studio feels it's too soon for us to redo a redo. So think earlier than that.
Okay, I can see that. That was 2004. That was a while ago now. Okay, so you're thinking like Night of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead is great. It's a classic. The 1991 was okay, but we could do better.
No, it's in the public domain, yes, and but here's the thing: everyone knows it's in the public domain. They're going to be expecting us to do it. It's not technically a zombie movie because the studio's like, zombies are kind of being done to death right now, if you pardon the pun. We want to do something like zombies, but not exactly zombies.
Okay, well, I don't know why you said they're not zombies, because I'm assuming you're talking about Day of the Dead. That's great, the military thing will work.
No. The reason being is that, again, the zombies have been kind of, they've been pushed on the crowd quite a bit. George even did that Land of the Dead, so,
Great success.
Right, but it's going to be one of his lesser known, but lesser appreciated Look, we're doing the Crazies, okay?
The what now?
The Crazies, it's kind of like 28 Days Later. They're not really zombies; they're more like infected. And we've got Timothy Olyphant, and he's gonna wear olive pants. It's gonna be great. We're gonna do that.
Whoa! Wait a second. Are you just making this movie? We can't just pretend a movie existed and then do a remake of it. Like, it has to be a real movie to begin with. You can't.
It's a real movie. It exists. He made it in the 70s.
You're talking about Monkey Shines.
That was an 80s movie. This is the Crazies. Trust me, if we've got Oliphant on board, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be the good guy. He's gonna be the sheriff.
Oh, that's some woeful miscasting. You know what?
What do you mean? I think he'll do fantastic.
Can we get Danielle Panabaker? She's hot and I want her number.
If I say yes, will you agree to make the movie?
Sure.
Fine. We'll put her in. You can get her number, and trust me, this is going to be, at the very least, a moderate box office success.
All right. Get me Radahaha on the phone.
Good. And that was the pitch meeting that took place for the Crazies.
We had a microphone in the room.
That we did a transcript there, and we just figured we'd dramatically read it for you, as we are wont to do here on What Were They Thinking?
All of our openings are actually 100% accurate representations of real-life events.
Especially that WrestleMania 11 one.
Yes. We almost got in trouble with Vince for that one.
They've got bugs in my office, damn it. There, we got the wrestling reference out of the way.
He's got a puke.
Because, unbeknownst to us, we did not make a wrestling reference during Ben and Arthur.
I would like to apologize to our listeners. I know they come to have some certain expectations, and I feel like we let them down in that regard. But I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yes. So it's in there. It's there for posterity. Wrestling reference secured.
So I guess we should do this every show now, because now we're on some more platforms. We're also on Google Play, so you might be listening to us on the Google Play, and on the iTunes, and on the Podbean, and on the Pod Knife, and on the Pocket Casts, and on the YouTube.
Are you just making stuff up?
No, I'm not making. iTunes is a real thing.
Podknife sounds fake. No, I know. I've met Johnny iTunes. He's a good guy. Solid fella.
Podknife is more of a site. Well, I'm just doing a free advertising for them now. More of a site where you can go and search for the podcast, and it takes you basically to the sites where it is available. So it's not you can't play it off the site directly.
So what you're saying is Podknife is a podcast search engine where all your favorite podcasts are right at the tip of your fingers.
www.podknife.com. Search for What Were They Thinking. Use the promo code. Yeah, essentially.
That's essentially it, yeah.
Yeah. But no, we're on many different platforms, so where I was trying to go with that was, I am Brendan.
And I'm Nathan.
And this is our podcast about terrible or sometimes terribly enjoyable movies. This one falling more into the latter category because
we
are talking about the Crazies.
Yes.
The 2009 remake of the 1973 film that I have never seen.
Classic.
Either one.
Classic.
I didn't watch this one either.
No, I haven't seen it either.
So wait, so the 70s...
I actually saw this. I saw this one in theaters, and I had no idea that it was a remake until years later.
I'll tell you about this one. Yeah, I also didn't know it was a remake, but for this one, when it came out, I didn't want to see it in theaters because, like we reenacted at the beginning, I had gotten pretty tired of the whole zombie genre too.
I don't think I had gotten tired of the zombie genre. I was getting more concerned with the departure from the more traditional zombies. I mean, because we had seen stuff in the Zack Snyder remake where they're all running around, and same thing with 28 Days Later. So we were getting stuff like that, and I've always kind of felt I like the shambling zombie because they're in mass, but they're unstoppable, unless you shoot them in the head. But they just keep. It's like a bug infestation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's what I think. That's what I kind of like about the shambling zombie as opposed to the more of the 28 Days Later virus infected zombies. And this movie is an exception because the folks aren't zombies because they get sick and they become insane. Mm-hmm. They don't die, and you can shoot them by shooting them in the chest or in the head or wherever, is like the way you would kill a normal human being, I guess.
This is essentially like bath salts before bath salts were a thing.
Yeah.
I
could see that. Like, you think of the zombie or the guy in Florida who ate somebody's face a few years ago.
Yeah, that actually
We're
happened,
topical.
Guys. Yeah, a few years ago, hot off the presses.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why I guess this movie kind of gets a pass from me, and I wouldn't classify it as a zombie movie because the people get sick and go mad.
Yeah, it's more of in that sense, it's almost more like 28 Days Later, where they were infected with rage or whatever that was.
Right, and with 28 Days Later, aside from the I guess the dying portion of it, because there were a couple people who died and then came back as rage patients or whatever. There was that bit at the end where the father gets the droplet of blood falls in his eye, and he has his farewell to his little girl, and then he goes mad and he attacks everybody.
Spoiler alert for 28 Days Later.
28 years later now.
Hey! Well, I would not be surprised if you told me Brendan Gleeson was that old.
But I actually, I remember seeing 28 Days Later. I went and saw it in theaters, and I really enjoyed it, again, simply because it was more of a direct sickness as opposed to dying and then reanimating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not talking about 28 Days Later. We're talking about the Crazies.
Oh, we're not? Oh, shit. I'll just close my notes.
With Timothy Olyphant.
Oh, Timothy Olyphant. And Radahaha. Radahaha Michelle is is his wife. Rada, however you say her name. I like to think of it as Radahaha. Now, we mentioned this earlier, but it's crazy. Like, he's fine in this movie, and he's a good lead and everything, but to choose Timothy Olyphant, who's
at the time.
Yeah, who's known for playing like drug dealers and criminals as like the sheriff of like a small friendly town.
Yeah, because I think at the time the only things I had seen him in were Go, where he was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And The Girl Next Door, where he was a pimp-esque porn producer.
And a drug dealer, I believe, too.
Okay, so there you go. It wasn't until years later when he got to be in, like, Justified and Deadwood?
Yeah.
He was in Deadwood, wasn't he? Yeah.
And he did that movie with Kevin Smith where that pissed off Kevin Smith a lot.
Die Hard 4?
That and no, what was that other one? They were in like a movie with Jennifer Garner or something.
Was it Catch and Release or Holiday or something like that?
Catch and Release, where he said apparently Timothy Olyphant doesn't do improv very well.
Fancy that, an actor who just, acts and doesn't do improv.
So, the Crazies, much like law-abiding citizen, we absolutely don't waste any time. And
no, we get into the fire everywhere. Yep. And we find out the whole thing just about takes place over like 2 days.
Yeah, crazy.
It's like 2 or 3. There you go. It's about 2 or 3 days for the whole movie. You get a shot of that downtown in flames and the house burning and everything like that, and then they're just like, oh, 2 days earlier.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the opening is it's kind of cliche now, but at the time, like a lot of movies are doing it, like Hills Have Eyes remake did it, and a few other ones like that, where you open with like a kind of it's a Johnny Cash tune here, but it's like a calmer like song you wouldn't think to hear in a horror movie.
Well, actually, this one, because we mentioned Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake, actually he used this song as well, When the Man Comes Around by Johnny Cash.
Oh no, this is a different song. The Crazies has a different one.
What song? I thought it was When the Man Comes Around. I just wrote Johnny Cash for my note. I thought it was one.
It's like We'll Meet Again in the End or something. Like it's.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
But I mean, both Johnny Cash though. Interestingly.
Yeah.
But like.
Well, I mean, if you want to convey I guess a somber vulnerability, you're gonna want to go with late years Johnny Cash.
Yeah, and even, like, not to skip ahead and talk about the plot at the end or anything, but even at the end they close with a song that, like, normally you wouldn't expect in a horror movie, and, like I said, it's kind of old hat now, but at the time it was kind of like, oh, that's an interesting thing to do. But I digress. Family Medical Clinic. Oh, wait, we're not even there yet.
No, not even.
No, because we open on a baseball game where we essentially meet many of the main characters.
Yeah.
Timothy Olyphant, the
principal. They're tan.
Well, we can't call him Tan Pants.
Timothy Tan Pants.
Timothy Tan Pants. TTP. We meet TTP, and he and the principal, who apparently has a lot of parking tickets.
Yes, because he pays for Tan Pants coffee.
Okay. Like, it's decided. It's Tan.
Sheriff doesn't pay for his coffee. Well, thanks, much obliged, principal, but the principal still pays for his parking tickets.
Yeah, start him a tab.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just this like nice little baseball game.
Now here's the thing: they're showing the crowd, and the kids are playing the.
Are they kids? Because
they're high school kids.
They looked like full grown adults.
Well, they grown big in Iowa.
Fine.
So they're playing baseball, and you're getting shots of like the town folk, because pretty soon they're going to be filling body bags, and you get the first infected. But looking at some of the folks in the stands. And I don't know if they did this on purpose or they just had really terrible extras. Some of the folks already looked sick.
Really?
To me, anyways.
I didn't catch that. That might be a subtle thing. That might be like a subtle thing to say. Oh, not he's not the only one. Or it could be that they were still in their makeup and they just forgot, or like just kind of hid them in the crowd, maybe.
Or it was just like a gross hot day in Iowa when they were filming.
That's very true. Also, do we even know where they shot? They might have just shot it in like California or something.
Maybe Oregon.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't have a California look. I'm just thinking like probably not.
If they did California, it would have been like Northern California.
Yeah,
because there's very, very country settings. It wasn't like, Ben and Arthur where they went to Vermont and it was like littered with palm trees.
Beautiful Vermont.
Yeah.
This film's slightly better made than Ben and Arthur, just so you guys know. So we get the first guy, Rory. I think his name was Rory Calhoun, which is like...
It was not.
Well, his name was definitely Rory. I thought they said his last name was Calhoun.
That would have been great.
But anyway, he's the town drunk, and he has a shotgun.
He was the former town drunk.
Remember,
his wife said he'd been sober for 2 years or something.
You know how proud he was of that.
Yeah.
But Rory has a shotgun. Tan goes up and confronts... Tan Pants. I thought you were calling him Tan.
No, I said Tan Pants.
Jeez, Timothy, you've gone through so many names.
Why do I call him Tan?
I don't know.
He doesn't have a dog named Snooey.
Alright, so Tan Pants goes, TP for short, goes up to confront Rory Calhoun, and he says, he basically tries to get him to lower the gun. He is about to shoot TP in the face, and TP shoots him and kills him dead right in front of the whole town.
You're out.
Yeah. Now, this is not like a major part of the movie because obviously it goes off the rails pretty quickly here with the whole disease thing. But one problem I have here is the town friggin' turns on him pretty quickly.
Well, yeah.
Like you just shot this guy dead. Guys, I don't know how many people were at this baseball game because it looks like the whole town was. He had a shotgun and pointed it at his face.
Yeah, that was a righteous shoot.
What do you want TP to do?
Or righteous kill, as they say. Maybe we should do that one. That one's actually a pretty good movie, though.
Oh God, the follow up to Heat.
I guess, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah,
put it that way.
50 Cent. Yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, he just straight up kills Rory. But like especially, well, I get like the wife and the son, but like all the other people, like there's even a guy later that says, "Oh, what you gonna do? Shoot me in the head?"
Yeah, he was a bit of a deek.
Yeah, well, he's like, yeah, when he's like, "Oh, if I found it as a reward."
It was McGregor, by the way.
McGregor,
Rory McGregor.
Oh, not Rory Calhoun.
No, because Scotty was his son, right? Oh no, Scotty was the
boyfriend.
Was the boyfriend, right? Sorry, my bad.
He has a large part in this movie.
Well,
and not like Mariah's large part. Not the same thing.
Forever live on in infamy.
So that's gonna be like our wrestling thing. One reference to Mariah's penis in every episode. So yeah, that's pretty much instigates the rest of the movie, and like you said, we find out he's stone cold sober.
Yes, because when they do the autopsy, they do the blood alcohol check, and it's at 0.0.
Yes, sir. And wow, so this isn't a big thing, but like I just wrote down inexplicably sanding wood. Because when he
it's because he's dealing with it. That's
his method of getting is sanding some wood. And Radahaha is his wife, of course, the doctor. Unlike Monkey Bone, he does not call her Doc, and I don't think she met him as a patient. But she does try to fix his nightmares. No, I'm just joking.
Hamill, sorry, it was bugging me. I knew it wasn't Calhoun.
Rory Hamill?
Rory Hamill.
Okay.
Yeah,
so Rory...
So solve that.
Calhoun Hamill.
Asshole.
Yeah, I know. So I gotta... Did you think it was weird?
He's sanding the thing, because they're getting ready for their kid. He's building furniture and stuff.
Yeah. It's just funny how that's how
that's
he's
his
like,
cathartic way. I'm not gonna drink. I'm just gonna construct furniture.
You know what? God, that was a tough game. I'm gonna go build a couch. But the thing here that stuck out, they go back to the sheriff's office. This is where he finds out the blood alcohol content was 0. They got Deputy Russell manning the phones, and like he even says, "Well, the sheriff's not here. Do you want to speak to the deputy? Hello." Like, don't you usually have like someone doing that?
Well, it is a small town, so
I did write.
But I mean, even Critters had Lin Shaye.
Exactly. Where was Lin Shaye?
We're doing a lot of deep cuts today, aren't we?
Oh, referencing all past episodes. Where was Lin Shaye? Yeah, Russell is an interesting character. But yeah. So I just got one question for you, Nathan. What would they think?
No. This isn't Ben and Arthur. I enjoyed watching this movie and taking notes. My kid didn't watch it. Didn't like watching it all that much, though.
No, a little much.
I think it's perfectly acceptable to watch this movie with a 12-year-old, isn't
it? Yeah, I believe it's only rated PG.
Yeah, she was fine.
Yeah. It's not even like the goriest. It's not even really that gory, honestly.
Like the pitchfork is like the worst part about the whole thing, but we'll get to that.
Yep, because now we get to old Bill.
Bill is ill.
Bill is very ill, and he repeats himself.
I'm fine. Few times. She worries too much.
Yep. Yeah. And this is an alarming situation if you've ever watched any horror movie ever, because obviously this is not going to end well.
I actually have that in several notes in this. Just the setups alone, it's like they're really tropey horror situations, and like when we, later that night at Bill's place when they can't find him. And his wife and his son are very concerned. So she goes out to look because she hears him out in the barn, or at least she hears the wheat thresher going out in the barn. And it's a dark night, and there's a wheat thresher running. And I'm like, she's out in the barn. This is going to end well. It actually does kind of end well because she doesn't get clipped there. She goes back to help her son, and that's when things go awry.
See, I thought when you said it actually does end well, I was like, where is your psyche going with this?
It ends well temporarily. Yeah. She doesn't get killed in the barn.
Yeah, because guess what, guys? Bill fucking kills his wife and his kid.
Like cold. Like, it's not rage victim beating them up and try. He locks them in a hall closet and sets the house on fire.
Yeah, he burns them alive.
Absolute calmest demeanor, and that's really the unsettling part for a lot of the stuff that happens in this movie is that the dead calm that everybody has before they start their attack, I guess.
And even so then they and like, this is a weird thing because the cops show up and they because the house is on fire. Bill's just like sitting outside rocking back and forth.
And here's like he burns their whole house like to the ground, like there is no question, and like pours gasoline all the way down the stairs and lights it, and it just goes right up. And the only note I could take was, you see, Arthur, this is how you do it.
So yeah, if you want to kill a priest, Arthur, just watch
the Crazies.
Movie. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I was going to say 28 Days Later. Yeah.
He's got that eerie whistling.
I do have two, like, during the scene where he's, like, the place is, like, burning down. They have that other horror trope where it's, like, the jump scare that's actually the fake out. But this one is so insane because the kid suddenly pops out of nowhere, grabs his mother's arm, and the sound is just like, like, it's so like over the top. Like where did that sound even come from? I thought her arm was made of like metal or something. and like, what I was gonna say is, like, I kind of wanted to see the thing where they said he was mowing his lawn. Like, that would have been kind of better to see than just like hear about.
Oh, where like when they when his place is burning down around him, his wife and kid are trapped inside, and he's just trimming the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that.
It would have certainly, again, added to the eeriness of his of the calm demeanor as everything is executed in this movie when it comes to, the folks who are sick.
Exactly. And also...
Because even with Russell, like, later on in the movie, when you start to suspect that he's sick, it's a real slow build to it.
And I'm just going to say this. When he starts to turn, which, again, is later, did you notice, like, his face looked different? Like, not even so much... I don't know if, like, the makeup changed or something, but it was a subtle thing, but he looked more like a villain somehow.
Yeah, a little more pallid and well, you know what? The that rat face facial hair they had him sporting in this movie didn't help his case at all at any time.
No. So, yeah, Bill fucking kills him. And then we find out someone crashed a plane in the water.
Yeah, thanks to Duck Dynasty.
What?
Well,
yeah.
The poachers are the ones who find it. And you know what? It really, without poachers or hunters, no bodies would be found in the woods.
So, you know what? We got to say right now, what were they thinking? Fully 100% supports the poaching of wild animals.
Not necessarily the poaching, but we at least support hunting. Because without hunters, no one would find bodies.
I'm just kidding, you fucking animals.
I support hunting, so up yours, Brendan.
I will not get on board of this train.
I don't care. Whatever. I do what I want. I run with 12 hunters.
And we only kill buffalo.
There you go.
12 hunters. Wow, that's impressive.
Or, we meet, a couple weeks of the year, around October.
You have meetings?
Well, we call them hunting trips, but...
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what I'm saying.
And this is actually where we find out who the real villain of the movie is. And I know that we're on one of the formats now, but Google Maps is apparently the villains in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Because every now and then we just cut to, like, a zoom out of the city, like the map. And and then I think... pretty close to around this time, it starts to say, it says, like, initiate, like, protocol or something like that.
Yes.
Containment protocol.
Yes, so containment protocol.
So, again, it's one of those scenes where you're like, that's not good.
Yeah, and that's where the guy who's taken the sheriff out to look for the plane that was reported by the poachers, the sheriff tells the guy who's piloting the boat to knock it off or whatever, and then he's like, "What, are you gonna shoot me too?"
Yeah, right there. I was like,
what a dick!
You deserve a shot to the. You should shoot him. If in that movie, not Tim Olyphant. What am I saying? TP.
Tan Pants.
If in the movie Tan Pants had turned around and just shot him in the face, I would have been like,
yeah, he deserved it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Absolutely.
But no, they find a giant plane and a dead pilot. And find out that the water flows into town through old Rory's house and then through Bill's. So they figure
Ogden Marsh.
Something's in the water. Yeah, Ogden Marsh is the friendliest place on Earth.
Sorry about your ancestral home there, Shane, but apparently it was nuked.
Oh, poor Shane Ogden.
Yeah.
But, and then we get the greatest...
He goes to see the mayor, and he's like, we need to shut off the water. And that mayor... lounging poolside without a shirt, ghastlier than 1,000 ghouls.
It reminded me of that whole thing from The Simpsons with the Australian Prime Minister.
Yes. Hey, gents, what's the good word?
Oi, Jerry!
Andy!
But yeah, yikes indeed. And he does that stereo. You get a lot of, like, as entertaining as this movie is, I will wholeheartedly admit there are a lot of big time horror tropes in it. This one being the one character that doesn't believe anything that's going on is actually an issue.
Right.
Because he's all, we can't shut off the water on a whim, and
don't.
What?
Stop it.
I don't know what I did. But anyway.
Knock it off.
We can't shut down the water on a whim. And he says, and then Tan Pants does it anyway.
Well, yeah, because, he knows what's going on.
I mean, you should listen to your mayor, I think.
You know...
I'm just kidding.
Not him.
No,
not him.
No. Maybe if it was
has that guy ever played like a legitimate? I don't know, even like a sidekick to a hero or anything like that. Every time I've seen that character act, I don't even know his name, in a movie, he's always either just your pleas are falling on deaf ears, or he won't pay attention to what's actually going on.
Are you talking about the mayor character?
Yeah, the mayor character, yeah.
Oh, no. I don't... Like, the actor you're saying? You recognize?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that guy before.
Oh, I've seen him in all kinds of stuff, and he's always like, just doesn't listen, sort of thing.
He probably has like a default script that he shows up with, and he's like, all right, just change a couple of the words around, and we'll just shoot this thing.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, no, well, that's it. I mean, he was on ER for quite a while, I guess.
Was he the guy who was, like, skeptical of every disease?
Probably. He's Uncle Tobin. All these sound like doubting people. Oh, he was Pastor Wilson in A Million Ways to Die in the West. Well, all right.
All right then.
There you go.
So
but yeah, I've always seen him as like that type of a character where he's like he's not one to necessarily go along with what the voice of reason's talking about.
Now listen here, I've been the mayor of this town, population 27, for many years. And I know when my water's good.
I'm going to take a swim in it right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, the mayor's fucked.
In that pool, like, I mean, just that... The pool seemed a little out of place. It was almost like they built it for the show.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I was going to... yeah, I noticed that, too. I was like, wait, what? He just has it in the middle of the farm?
Yeah. So we get back into town, and old Bill he's messed up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess he's just standing
the bloody handprint on the wall, standing still,
staring into thin air. I mean, if you think that's weird, then I guess that's weird, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
And I think this is pretty much where we get into the whole takeover thing, or not NXT takeover, but
the protocol.
Yeah, because Tan Pants can't get a phone signal.
He puts it together because there's no Wi-Fi.
There's no Wi-Fi, and he's like, something is afoot.
Well, you know what? It's funny that they use that as like the aha moment for him. It's something that gets used a lot now, though.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, I can't get a cell reception, I can't get any like Wi-Fi or anything like that. So they automatically, something's amiss.
Well, it would have been great if that was the mayor's aha moment. They go back to the mayor and he's like, I can't get on my Facebook.
I hear, what were they thinking? Just uploaded a new episode. I need to check it out. Why can't I get onto the interwebs?
All I can watch is the Kiss It Meets the Phantom of the Park episode I recorded years ago.
Oh man, I was actually talking about that episode today with somebody.
Yeah.
How just dreadful
the audio quality.
No, just how dreadful the movie is.
Oh, good lord!
About the how. One of the band members, it's not his voice. The other one who just says "ack" all the time, and then Gene Simmons roars.
Fantastic movie. Yeah. So where are we? We got the Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Oh,
we're going into the morgue.
The Wi-Fi goes down.
Because I'm like, yeah, he's going into the morgue. This will end well.
Okay. The guy, when he sees the guy, and his mouth is like stitched closed, that was like the funeral director, right?
No, it was the minister, the funeral director, or the morgue guy was the one who attacked him.
Okay, so my question is, aren't his eyes are sewn shut too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how does he know that the guy's right behind him?
Were they sewn shut?
They were. The stitches were over his eyes, and he goes, behind you.
Oh, maybe he can see just ever so much. Because they weren't clamped shut.
It's a stretch because he's laying down and he can barely. It's clouding his vision already as it is, and like the guy's behind Tan Pants. So I don't know. I was just like, what? What are you talking about?
Or maybe he just realizes that he's the there's nobody else down there but him and the now insane coroner.
You said but.
Okay. Good one.
Oh, gave me the old Ultimate Warrior. So yeah, he has this crazy fight with
a crazy.
And
you know what? Tan Pants wasn't ready, but Bonesaw was ready. Here we go, another wrestling reference.
Boom! We got to pack this episode with them.
Yeah, because we got to make up for Ben and Arthur.
the world.
More ways than one.
Sam Marovich needs to make up for Ben and Arthur.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get. Now here's one thing I want to say too about this whole scene. When he eventually kills the doctor or whatever,
the coroner, the mortician.
Yeah. The saw is just like still going after him because it's like it's still plugged in. Why doesn't he just jump up and grab it by the other side?
I don't know. The scene itself was kind of nuts. So
it just goes right for his crotch, and thankfully old Russell is there to stop him.
Yeah. But it's funny. Russell stops it, and then like pulls back, and then unplugs it. Why wouldn't he just unplug it?
Well, yeah, it's like Russell, in the world of the film, Russell does not know there's a camera there for dramatic effect.
No.
So, yeah.
Well, he knows Google's watching.
That's true. Google, the villain, Google Earth again.
Yep. So. We're not going to be on Google Play for very long.
Hey, Google Play, listen, I got no beef with Google Play, but Google Earth.
Google Earth,
they're giving, something's not right there.
Yeah.
I said it since day one. Yeah, so they get out of there, and I think, this is pretty much where he returns home, and Radahahaha is somehow able to see that there's someone in the yard, even though she's standing on the other side of the room and like, can't even see the window from where she is.
Yeah, and he goes to the creepy barn, and that's going to end well.
They should have just called this movie, That's Gonna End Well.
That's going to end well.
But yeah, he goes to the creepy barn, and boom! Government agents everywhere.
Yes,
soldiers.
And you should trust faceless officials. That was the thing with this movie. It was like they anybody who was not infected and needed to be robbed of their humanity was immediately given like a gas mask or a hazmat suit.
Yeah, I mean, there's like one exception in the entire like all the government bad guys or whatever that actually is a genuine good guy, I'd say.
But he gets his mask taken off. He gets his humanity back.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're getting all like deep on this thing.
Well, I was able to make Ben and Arthur seem like a secretly ingenious movie.
I'd argue that the guy later that tells them a bit more information when he doesn't have his mask on, he's not a great person either.
Well, no, but I mean, it doesn't make him a hero, but no masks equals more human.
That's true.
I guess,
Yeah. So, this is where we find out that Radahahaha is pregnant.
Yes, because that's why she has an elevated temperature.
She has an elevated temperature, and she gets put in this crazy room where she basically goes on the like murder tour.
They think she's infected because of the elevated temperature.
Yeah, and there we see Danielle Panabaker, and she is very attractive. I actually just have a note that said Michelle and Danielle Panabaker are both hot. That's all. Just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. We should watch some Linda Cardellini movies or some Ellen Page stuff so I can go on rants like that.
Okay. No issues there. We'll just... Next.
Grandma's Boy It Is.
Next on What Were They Thinking? A whole season of Freaks and Geeks.
I know what they were thinking there. Let's make a fantastic show that's never going to be appreciated in its time.
Yeah. Isn't that Linda Cardellini, the main
She's
girl?
in that.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's awesome in that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes. Good acting.
Man, she all around.
Hey.
Talented and a delight to regard.
All right. So
we're in the processing facilities, and Tan Pants is saying he needs to get back to his wife. And there's another guy who's like, yeah, they took my wife, but they're putting us all on buses, so I figure she'll be all right.
Yeah, he's like, who needs a...
And old Tan Pants says, look, because he's like, why are you going back? Why are you risking your life for that? And he's like, look, George, I won't... If you don't question me about why I can't leave my wife here, I won't question you about why you can.
Yeah, that other guy's a dick.
That was a good burn, man. That was a good, sick burn.
Oh, yeah, you see him kind of, like, sink into his own skin, too.
Yeah.
So this is probably, like, one of the more terrifying little scenes here. But this is his wife, is in this room, as well as Danielle Panabaker, whatever you want to call her. I don't know what to call her.
Danny Pants.
Dan Pants. Dan Pants.
Dan Pants and
Tan Pants.
Dan Pan and Rana ha 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 ha.
Dan Pan and Rana ha ha ha. Okay, I like it. So they're in the room, and we get the appearance of the principal from earlier, who is clearly crazy now.
He's infected.
And he's got a pitchfork, and he just starts stabbing people.
It is probably the most unsettling scene in the movie.
However, I think some of those people he's mercy killing, because some of those people are infected.
He is, but it's not so much the I guess the loss of innocent life. It's just the way that he's going about it. Like, he's doing that long, slow walk, just dragging the pitchfork behind him, and it's making that, that ting, 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 kind of as it's dragging along the floor, and it's creating that little bitty blood trail, almost like it was being painted with like a fine paintbrush or something like that. And then he just goes crazy and, stabs somebody, like, right through the bed.
Yeah, he does it to, like, 3 or 4 people, I think, before he even gets to our 2 main females.
Who are not ill.
No, and, like, that's... Well, I question if Dan Pants was ill or not, because...
Okay.
Or Dan Pan. Because there's a scene later where she's kind of coughing and stuff, and they don't really play on that, but I mean, then she's out of the movie shortly after that, so I wonder...
But yeah, she never gets that pallid, sickly look that Russell gets.
It's true. But I thought maybe they were hinting at the fact that she could have been sick had she had lived longer in the movie.
Yeah.
But they make the save. Tan Pants shows up and plugs them.
Yeah, but first, before they do that, when old Dan Pants is about to get killed by the principal, she goes, no,
and the principal's like, oh.
And then she's like, oh, I didn't think that through.
Yeah, not at all. Now I get to be next.
Yeah, but she doesn't, because Tan Pants shows up with old Sadie. That's what I named his gun that they didn't take from the police station, and plugs the principal.
Yeah. I also wrote down this dialogue exchange. I think it's between Tan Pants and Russell. He says, it's, you know what? What? We're in trouble.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It was just so like, all right. I don't know what you're going for in that one, but yeah, I kind of got that so far.
They ask, are you okay? No, not really.
Yeah. Everything's fine, right? No, not particularly. There's a lot of walking in this movie. I just want to say.
Yes.
They don't, I mean, there's not...
Not Lord of the Rings level, but still, they do a fair bit of foot trotting.
Not Lord of the Rings level in the sense that the coverage of it, but I feel like just in the sense like of how much that they're walking, it's like pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, because they walk like 10 miles to get somewhere. They walk like another 15 or so to get somewhere else. Like, it's pretty great. It's a lot of walking.
I did like how Tan Pants ordered Russell not to get sick.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to get sick, okay?
And that's an order.
I'm the sheriff and you're the deputy. How about that unsettling scene? So they break out of the place because, well, basically we should say that the reason the guy was going around pitchforking people is because that place got invaded by crazies, where they were keeping potential disease-ridden people.
Well, they didn't say that necessarily the guys who attacked the compound were infected, but they wanted to break their loved ones out because they crashed the fence with the truck.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, you don't necessarily know if they are actually crazy or if they're just forming a militia and they're not going to take it because it's, government overreach.
They're not going to take it.
Thanks, D.
You're welcome. So, yeah, but basically the government agents are gone, but there's a really unsettling scene here where they get out of the building and that old woman is just, like, walking around looking for someone. Did Peter call? And she's just, like, looking at all the bodies. I was like, hey...
Well, maybe Trixie affects people differently. It doesn't make everybody go absolutely bonkers crazy.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is she a crazy, or is she just like so distraught by this whole thing that it's just caused her to kind of, you know what I mean?
Maybe it's like the Doom virus from Doom.
Oh God, Doom coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is they see all the cars are booted. And,
this is my favorite shot of the whole movie. When they're walking through the wreckage, there's just a couple of baseball players and they're just punching a car.
I thought, and then there was another one. Someone was fighting a dumpster.
Yeah, they're just. Yeah. Oh, I think that's what it is. Yeah, they're just punching it. Just over and over again.
I was really hoping that somebody was going to be like punching a building just so I could write, "Son, you can't fight City Hall."
This is the political thriller of the year, the Crazies.
Yeah, but they didn't. So
missed opportunity.
Yeah, and then we find out that there's guys that are infected and they're hunting humans, and I actually had to question as to whether or not they were absolutely infected because they were working together.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I didn't like at first. I was like, oh, they're infected, and then I thought these are the hunters from earlier, are they not?
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
the poachers.
Well, maybe this isn't infection. Maybe this is just them, like their true selves. You know, it's kind of like a purge scenario.
Yeah, they figure they're gonna be able to get away with it because the government's doing that anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, The Purge, a movie where everybody is secretly a murderer. But yeah,
love those movies.
They're great. So they get out of this area, basically wait for the hunters to drive away. Did you see Russell grab a handful of boob?
I did not.
Okay. Well, this is the part where she sees like a farm, Scotty's farm, which is
right.
Dan Pan's boyfriend.
Right.
So when they run up to it, and Russell stops her from going in the door because Scotty has a gun because he's paranoid.
Oh.
He totally grabs a handful of boob.
He does the shortstop and...
Yeah. And I even noticed like a little look on her face. It wasn't overt, but it was almost like the actress was like, whoa. What did you do?
Kind of like Rose McMeow when in Ready to Rumble when she was kind of pissed off at David Arquette and them talking about her boobies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Rose McGowan.
Yeah. Mm.
Can she just be in everything?
That'd be fantastic.
Fantastic, Rose McMeow.
But yeah, they meet up with old Scotty and Scotty and Dan Pan have a tender moment, and it's romance in the time of ultra cholera.
I like that. That's one of my favorite novels.
Romance in the time of ultra cholera.
Yeah, the illustrations are really nice.
Okay.
But then Scotty gets gunned the fuck down by the government people because
no, he doesn't. He gets immolated. They shoot him, but then they just burn him and his mom.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, he gets gunned down, and then his mom gets gunned down, and then they burn them.
Yeah. Damn you, Google!
Oh, shit, Nathan. This is the last episode on Google Play.
First and last.
Guys, watch. If you listen to the show on Google Play, quickly listen to the catalog.
Before they pull us.
We love you, Google Play. But you gotta keep an eye on
Google Earth, you are the scourge.
You gotta keep an eye on those guys, really.
Yeah. And this is where we have the soldier, because the government or Google Earth is searching the searching the farm, and they take one of the soldiers like kind of hostage. They wrestle his gun from him, and then he gets his mask removed, so you see his face, which gives him a bit of his humanity back.
Yep, and you see that he's like a fairly young guy too.
Yeah, and then he obviously he's like, he didn't sign on to gun down innocent civilians. He didn't even know what he was doing. They just said, keep your mask on. If you take your mask off, you'll die. Mm-hmm. And this is where we find out that what they're dealing with is possibly an airborne virus.
And I love that line, like in horror movies, or not just horror movies, but you get a lot of movies where someone's like, I didn't sign on for this. Just once I'd like to see a movie where it's like, yeah, this is what I signed up for. I wanted to shoot innocents.
Clocked and ready to rock.
But yeah, they let him go, and like eventually, on the basis that he won't tell anyone. And I was actually surprised. This is not the first time I watched this movie, obviously, but when I first watched this movie, I was actually surprised that they didn't have a fake out where he actually told everyone. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Like you got to see his face, so there's some humanity to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they immolate Scott and his mom, and man, she is smoking.
Wouldn't it have been interesting? Oh my god. Wouldn't it have been kind of interesting later on if, when, not to jump the gun, but when Russell gets killed, for the guy maybe one of the guys that killed him to be that kid?
That would have been a nice little, that would have tied a nice little end on it.
I kind of thought it was going to come back.
Yeah.
But they don't really do anything with that. I mean, it's a nice moment, but like it doesn't really come back at all.
I mean, considering the the movie in and of itself, it doesn't lend too well or too much to the intellectual or the great filmmaking. I mean, it's a fun movie, and I enjoyed watching it, but I didn't seek it out looking for nuance.
What? I will say, though, that I should have said this off the top, but this is the best reviewed movie I think we've ever done. This has a 71 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I think it's the only fresh one we've done.
Well, no, didn't we? We did one. Shit, when was it? It actually had a really good audience score, but a really terrible critic score.
Oh, yeah, and this is weird, too. This one actually doesn't have a very good audience score.
Yes.
But no, I think this is the first fresh critic score, I should say.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's only got a 56% audience score.
Yeah, which is it surprises me. I thought it was going to be higher.
Yeah, it's weird because, man, this movie delivers what it promises.
Yeah, for sure. My next note just says "Furious Laundry."
It's where they go back to their place, back to Tampance's house, and in order for her to, I guess, compartmentalize everything that's going on, Radhada starts doing laundry, and she's doing it at a furious pace.
A fast and furious pace.
There you go.
Oh, if only she was in those movies, that joke would have landed better.
And that's the thing I got to do. Oh, I got to do the laundry. It's got to get done. No one's going to do it. It's not going to do itself.
Jeez, I better just hurry up and do all this laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So then they go into the house, and this is another pretty effective scene, I think.
Well, before they do that, we should probably say why they're back at the double back, because it's the only place that has a car that hasn't been booted.
Yeah. It's like an old, he has an old patrol
old cruiser.
Car. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I got tonight on the Dukes.
But this is the thing about the Crazies, is that they, it's weird. It's they're able to plot things too. They're not just crazy because they're crazy.
They're crazy in that, they have no remorse and they're less inhibited, more apt to kill.
Yeah.
Just like, Bill at the first with his family. It's all done in a very cold and calculating manner. It's not done in any sort of raving lunatic, yelling at the shadows and stuff like that. They actually are I'm gonna go there and I'm going to kill him because that sounds like a really good idea to me.
That was a line in this movie, I think.
Should have been.
But yeah, because they go in, Ridahaha goes into the bedroom where they were getting, what they were getting ready for their unborn child, and she sees the mother
she doesn't see her.
No, but she is tied up.
She's in the corner
by the wife. Rory Calhoun. It's Rory Calhoun's wife and son that are in there. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it is. And Rory's wife is in the corner, and she takes her by surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then
and ties her up. Yeah, right. She does. They do tie up. Brother. Ha ha ha.
So I'm guessing. So this is my thing. Is like they're crazy. They're like a little bit psycho, but they
still have motor skills.
Yeah, and they still have the know-all to lure in Tan Pants, because knowing that he'll try to save his wife if he can't look for his wife if he can't find her.
The wherewithal,
if you will. So yeah, and this I have a note here that this is very unsanitary, because he gets stabbed in the hand
through the hand,
drives it through her neck, and then pulls the knife through both of them.
Yeah, I don't know how he does not end up infected. He must have like an ultra immune system.
Well, and that's my question too. Like, is it just through the water, or is it through blood, or like it has to be through blood, right?
Like, well, not necessarily. Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, there's not every illness is bloodborne, but I mean, they had said that this was through ingesting in the water, or possibly an airborne virus, because that's why they told the soldiers that work for Google Earth not to take off their masks.
I laugh every time you say Google Earth. But yeah, exactly. And the only thing is, like, I just didn't know why he didn't just try to take his hand out rather than take the knife through them. Like, that to me is a silly risk to take.
Yeah. Cool scene, though.
Yeah. And then, of course, Russell ends up shooting the son from outside through the window. Mm-hmm. And this is where he starts to kind of go off the deep end.
Well, because he comes in and he plugs them.
A bunch of times.
Just to be safe. And I don't know if at this point I was really on board with Russell being sick, because I was like, you know what, that's actually pretty smart.
I didn't think he.
Do not blame him for doing that at all.
I didn't think he was sick yet either, but at the same time, I'm thinking like this might get worse though. Like actually, you know what's interesting? Only after rewatching him this time did I realize he was even sick in the movie at any point, because I thought he was just losing his mind at the situation, not necessarily being crazy, but being like,
just becoming unhinged.
Yeah, from just the very situation of the whole thing.
Yep.
But either way, they get out of there because it's
well, they get the wheels back on the cruiser.
Yeah, and they encounter a helicopter.
The last scene where Timothy Olyphant, or Tan Pants,
I was gonna say, who the hell's Timothy Olyphant?
Stabs Rory's wife with the knife that's stuck in his hand. My friend Ben, his girlfriend, that's like her favorite part in the movie. The one that sticks out to her the most, and this portion coming up here is the one that sticks out the most to me. It's like one of the things that I took away from this movie when I originally saw it in theaters. I was like, that was one of the coolest scenes, the car wash scene that's coming up.
Going to the car wash.
Yeah. Because you're right, they encounter a CIA helicopter or Google Earth helicopter, and they try to avoid it by going into a car wash.
Yeah. Yep, and
does not work out well for them.
No. Oh, this
does not end well.
This is gonna end well. Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of crazies in there, and Dan Pan gets a pretty horrific death.
She would have been squirming a lot more with the way that she went.
Yeah, but I mean,
kicking and whatnot.
Yikes. Well, unless her neck just broke.
I suppose.
I mean, that's what I assumed that happened like pretty quickly, because they run back there awful quick. And
she gets hung up in the wiring by the Crazies, and everybody jumps out of the car to go back to try to save her, and as they can't save her and have to deal with the fact that she's dead now, Google Earth destroys the cruiser.
Yeah, just blows it up.
Yeah, and that was one of the scenes that really, because I was not absolutely expecting that, but you can kind of tell something was going to happen with the way they were framing the shot. And, just out of nowhere, like an RKO, cruiser gone.
Yeah. Just like an RKO. You're right.
Yep.
Here's the thing I want to mention, too. They seem to, hinting at the fact... I don't know, maybe I'm taking this the wrong way, but they seem to hint at the fact that Radahahaha and Tan Pants may also be crazy at times. Because they have their little argument. They have a couple of arguments where Tan Pants kind of starts yelling, and then there's a calm, and then he just kind of says "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that." You know what I mean? They kind of you kind of
there's a really really good one up towards the end when they're at the truck stop.
Yeah, and you really think for a moment "Oh, is one of them about to go?" And it doesn't happen, But either way, this is around the time where we find out the incubation period is 48 hours. So,
because they start trotting down the highway, and there's one car driving along the highway.
Yeah,
and it's the lone car coming down a deserted highway, and this is gonna end well.
And Russell just finds a one of those
spike
strips and just throws it out there.
Well, that was the section where they had spiked his tires when he had tried to go to... Where the hell was he trying to get to? The major city near...
Cedar Rapids?
Marsh. Cedar Rapids, right. He was going there, and they spiked his tires. And so I'm guessing they left the spikes behind, because he grabs it. Even after... Tan Pants was like, we need the vehicle.
Yeah. He just takes it down, and it flips 4 times.
Yeah. Even if it hadn't, they wouldn't have been able to drive that car because they destroyed all 4 tires.
Well, and this is where you really get the sense of Russell is off the deep end, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he started laughing. He started laughing maniacally not 30 seconds after Dan Pan died. So.
Yeah. But I mean, that's again that lends more to the coming unhinged, unable to compartmentalize what's going on around him.
Yeah,
he just slowly the cheese is coming off the cracker, as it were. But yeah, they get the government agent who is in the lone vehicle, and they start questioning him, and you find out that it's the Trixie virus.
Yes,
and they were using it as a biological weapon.
Yeah, this scene almost doesn't need to exist, to be honest with you. Because I'm not a huge fan. I think we mentioned this before in the, oh God, what was it we were talking about? Oh, Killer Clowns episode.
Yeah.
That it doesn't. I don't feel like a movie like this you really need to over-explain too much about why everything's happening.
I think the information that they gleaned from this this government agent could have been, information they could have gotten off of files that were left behind by Google Earth because they knew that they were going to destroy Ogden Marsh.
Yeah.
The only thing it really does serve as far as the plot advancement is what happens next is when, Russell shoots the guy.
Yeah, right in the head.
While Tan Pants is talking to him and trying to get information out of him. He's like, I need to talk to him. He talked enough.
Yeah. Crazy Russell is pretty entertaining, I gotta say.
Yeah.
He's like, I just wanted to talk to the guy. He's like, you talked.
Yeah.
So he plugs him right in the head, and this is where they take Russell's gun, and Russell has another gun because he finds it in the other dude's car.
Yes.
And he basically is holding Tan Pants and Radahahaha hostage at this point, essentially.
Well, he makes them walk, and they're walking out in front of them, but then old Tan Pants is like, he decides to confront Russell.
So are they trying to say here, okay, yes, because this confrontation comes up, and Tan Pants knocks him out and steals his gun, and Russell kind of has some...
All right, Russell, here's the deal.
Yeah,
bam!
Right in the face. But are they trying to say here that he's in like such the early stages of the disease that he can still kind of he still has some of his humanity, or is it like a thing where I don't know, like it just seems weird to me that he's obviously infected now, but he's not. He's still able to like be normal.
He still has his faculties about him. And I think it has to do with the fact that he was further down the line when it comes to the water distribution in town, because he makes mention of that.
Okay.
That he's further. He would have still have gotten infected by it, but he was further down, so he's like right on the cusp of the 48-hour incubation period.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like early stages then, you think?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because it's pretty quickly, and then he punches him and he goes, "Oh, can I still walk with you guys?"
For a little while.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
But he does get his humanity back.
Yeah, Russell I think is like the biggest hero of the movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he sacrifices himself so that they can get by and get to this truck stop.
Because he knows it's over, because they said there's the guys that they were talking to before Russell shot him essentially said there's no cure. If you haven't shown any symptoms by 48 hours, you don't have it and you're fine. But if you do, it's not long after that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. He knows it's over like the gobbledygooker, and So
you had to make that one, didn't you?
I guess that would be me saying that it isn't over, so that's not accurate. It is over for him, and he gets shot the fuck up.
Yep.
And like I said here, I would have liked to have seen one of them kind of like look at him and be
the callback for the kid. Yeah, that would have been good.
But alas, it is not to be.
No nuance.
We go to a truck stop.
Quick fills. This is where Tan Pants had that sick burn on that dude earlier about not questioning on why he couldn't leave his wife and why he could.
Yes.
And the place is deserted, a ghost town, and the Tan Pants was like the night before it was packed, like Grand Central Station, he says.
Mm-hmm. Grand Central Station in Ogden Marsh.
Yeah, in Iowa.
Yeah.
So they start looking around, and it's a deserted truck stop, and so this is going to end well.
Yeah. The title of the movie.
Yeah. It's gonna end well. This is also where we find out that Google Earth is killing they ended up killing all the townsfolk.
Google Earth is killing everyone, guys.
We're not going to be on Google for very long.
Hey, this is just in the movie. We didn't make this movie.
Yeah, don't get at us. Get at George Romero and the guys who... Yeah.
Don't take our word for it. Oh, wait, that's later. So this is like the truck stop. This is basically like the big finale of the movie at the truck stop.
And you kind of get to see the poachers. They're there.
Yeah, you mentioned also this scene.
Oh, yes.
Because of the argument they have.
Yeah, because, she's feeling like defeated and he wants to move on, and they're like just kind of bickering back and forth about what to do, and the calm comes over them, and he's like, "Look, just tell me what you want to do. If you want to stay here and die, I'll stay here and die with you, or we can try to leave."
Yep. So. And then they mac.
It's actually one of the better scenes as far as like story, character, and dialogue in the movie.
Yeah, and then they swallow each other's faces.
Well, it's as one does when being pursued by infected and Google Earth.
I mean, I did respect the fact this is a horror movie where they don't stop in the middle of a chase and start making out.
And I think it's perfectly fine too, because I mean they're a married couple and they're expecting their kids. I mean the tensions and emotions have been running high. So
indeed.
Yeah. But then we find out that the all is not as it seems at the truck stop. The poachers are there, because then we see one of them in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, I straight up like legitimately jumped at that part.
Oh
because it's so
I have a note here.
quiet.
You know what? He's not the creepiest looking line cook ever.
Yeah, that's true. I can safely say, having gone to a university cafeteria, that is unequivocally, or however you say that word, correct.
Without a doubt, he is not the creepiest looking line cook I've ever seen.
Nope. And probably not the worst either.
No. Tried to kill her and everything. Still not the worst.
Still not the worst line cook. But
yeah, we find out this is poachers, and she has to play dead.
Yes. Yeah, she hides with a knife, and she
corpses.
Yeah, she hides in the corpses, and she hides with the knife, and she hides in the closet, and Tan Pants ends up having a pretty crazy fight with one of the guys underneath a truck.
Yes, Optimus Prime evil.
Also, this is a scene where he sets this guy on fire, and it is right underneath that truck. Like, they straight up drive over the fire. I was like, oh, man. Yes. There are risks all over this movie.
There's a few.
Like, the knife, this thing, Tan Pants is just not giving a fuck.
No. And they get in Optimus Prime evil, and they drive away. And they find out that it's the final countdown. We should stop. We don't have the rights for that. I don't want to get taken down.
How much do we sing of that?
I think we're good. We just did the breakdown and the name of the song.
I'll get Daniel Bryan to foot the bill. Hey-o!
There we go. Another we're really packing them in there just to make up for Ben and Arthur and its lack of everything.
Yes, its lack of being a movie.
Yes. And this is where we find out that Google Earth is going to nuke Iowa.
Yeah. I mean, why not, right?
Well, you know.
Well, wait, you mean
Ogden Marsh.
Yeah.
Shane's ancestral home.
Every time when you said that at first, I thought you said incestual home.
No, ancestral. Just, come on, Brendan, be better.
Wow. That's a pretty harsh criticism. Be better. Why can't you do this good?
They do go transport truck surfing.
Transport truck surfing?
Well, when they nuke, Shane's parents' place, and the wave or the shock wave catches up with them, they're essentially surfing in the transport truck that they're driving away in.
This is true.
They're riding the shock wave, as it were. Shock wave and Optimus Prime. And I got two awesome Transformers references in, too. I'm so proud of myself.
Riding the Shockwave sounds like a cool punk band.
Yeah. There you go.
Or like, it's like a successor to like Gleaming the Cube. Riding the Shockwave.
Riding the Shockwave.
Yeah.
Starring Christian Slater's cousin.
Jack Slater. Yeah, this is pretty much the long and short of it, because they somehow survive this explosion that knocks the truck over. They crawl out with their We Heart Iowa shirts that we see them later wearing, because he nabbed a bunch of stuff from the truck stop. They're heading towards Cedar Rapids. All is well. Oh, wait a second.
I think Google Earth executes another containment protocol on Cedar Rapids.
I would like the sequel to Cedar Rapids, please.
Google Earth hates Iowa, apparently.
If you have gleaned anything from this episode, ladies and gentlemen, it is that Google Earth hates Iowa.
Unfortunately, the movie Cedar Rapids is not a direct sequel of this movie.
Is there a movie called Cedar Rapids?
Yeah, Ed Helms is in it.
Oh, are you sure it's not a sequel?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a sequel, but just like has nothing to do with the Crazies. Wouldn't it be?
Sounds like a stealth sequel.
Wouldn't it be great if, like, in Cedar Rapids, like Tan Pants just showed up in like one scene and he was like his character from this movie?
Well, what happened to you? Oh, it was a crazy night.
Long story. Anyway, you want some drugs?
I'm a sheriff.
Yep. So that was the Crazies, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, and as we mentioned in the opening, I think we did that Romero was an executive producer on this.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
I was surprised that
Did you enjoy the credits scene?
Oh yes, that's right. The newscaster.
The newscaster and Cedar Rapids is slowly going off the air, sort of thing.
It felt very Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead as well.
Yes.
Which I gotta say, like, also just a side note. That's also like I think that was also a really good remake.
Yes, I saw that in theaters, enjoyed it immensely.
Well, I did as well. So, that is the Crazies, starring Tan Pants, Rada ha 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 ha, Michelle, Dan Pan, and Russell.
Dan and Russell, yes.
But I would say that I enjoyed it wholeheartedly. Even it is, pardon the pun, crazy, but
yes.
It is for sure. It's an easy watch.
Oh, most definitely. And if you haven't seen it, I absolutely recommend it.
Yes,
it was. I saw it in the during the time when my wife and I were picking movies back and forth. Remember, I told you I had to sit through like Nanny McPhee and and Baby Mama and stuff like that. Well, she had to sit through like this and The Hills Have Eyes, Hostel.
Oh God, I will challenge you on that Baby Mama thing. That one's not bad.
No, it's not. But I mean, we were definitely picking movies that the other would not pick to go see.
Yes, granted.
You know, sort of like what we do with each other here, sort of thing, where it's like, oh, you made me watch Ben and Arthur. Well, I'm gonna look up something. I've got one for you after summer blockbuster season, buddy. Boy, howdy, you are gonna. Oof, you'll hate me.
I'm excited now. This only makes me more excited. You realize?
My brother will love me, but you will hate me.
If it's Anyway, I don't even want to speculate. I'm. You've got me intrigued now.
All right.
So, but like we say this every week, every second week, I guess. Don't take our word for it.
No, it's Steve Newton from the Georgia Strait, which is actually a West Coast freebie paper. Says activism-minded moviegoers will welcome the second coming of Romero's cautionary tale, but they'll have to sit through one hell of a nasty pitchfork scene to get the message.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty nasty.
But I mean, I like how he says that as if it's like a negative thing.
Oh, you want negative stuff, because I would say don't take my word for it that it's awesome. I'm gonna give you some. You want one?
Oh,
okay.
No. I just mean the way he described the pitchfork scene. It sounded as if he said like that was a negative aspect of the movie.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was one of like the better scenes. So it just like was like what? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'll give you a negative one, but it's from NPR. So I mean, what do they know?
Oh God.
Oh, I'm actually going to do it in my best NPR voice here.
Yes, please do your Garrison Keillor.
No, I'm going to do it in my best NPR voice.
Wait,
he's great, but if I'm going to get the approximation of NPR, I'm going to do the best average NPR.
Can I just ask the question before you start? How many people out of the people that heard the words Garrison Keillor do you think knew who that was?
Anybody who's seen Prairie Home Companion.
Oh, that's true.
That was a fantastic little movie.
All right, go ahead.
The incoherences made all the more disappointing because Eisner displays a great deal of raw talent for the genre's tone and set pieces.
Oh, sorry, what?
Exactly. What do they know, right?
Good lord, that's Ian Buckwalter, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
This is
my impression of him is pretty good, I guess.
That was NPR. I thought they were there for a second. Like you just turned on the radio. This is from Peter Rayner, from the Christian Science Monitor. Funny enough, though, this doesn't really have anything to do with either of those things. It just says, while it loses the charm of Romero's low-budget clunkiness, it is in all other regards superior.
Yeah, he gave it a B-. Yeah.
Christian Science.
Yeah. Well, you know why? Because none of them sought out the help of a doctor. Sorry, I'll behave myself.
No. You no. I stand by your convictions. This negative review is from Rick Groan, which I think is maybe the greatest critic name ever. The Globe and Mail.
Oof.
The blood is certainly convincing these days. I don't know why he says these days, but it generally only flows in the safest and most inoffensive, uncontroversial directions. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean.
Okay, well, you know what? I've got a positive one from What Culture.
Oh.
And in true What Culture tradition, possibly worth watching for a bit of laugh if you're a fan of Romero or horror generally, but it's nothing that'll be remembered for long after you leave the theater.
Nathan, are you still there? Oh,
yes.
Okay. The What Culture guy just came in for a second and read his review. Just wanted to make sure you were still there. No, there's a lot, like we were saying, it's got a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. The average rating is like a 6 point something out of 10. Like it did fairly well.
I mean, and the thing with it is it's got a decently positive review with critics, and for horror movies, for me anyways, as a fan of the genre, if the critics are saying it's good, I've got to check it out, because normally when it comes to horror, it's not a genre that is well received by critics.
No, not really.
So yeah,
and even I'm looking at the box office here. Budgeted at $20 million. So I mean, a pretty good budget for a horror movie. Not a low budget, but enough. And it made 54. So I mean,
double its budget.
Made double
back,
even if the marketing was double the budget, or even if with the marketing it was double the budget, they still made a profit of $15 million.
Yep.
So that was that film, ladies and gentlemen, and
it was the Crazies.
That was the Crazies, and now I will drop a hint for.
Just a moment.
Yes.
I've before I just need to play this this word. I can find that is gonna put on this. Hello! It's your good friend Montrose Monkington III here. I hope you've been enjoying the antics of Brendan and that uncouth ne'er-do-well Nathan for the What Were They Thinking podcast. If you've enjoyed it, if you're so inclined, since you're still on your mobile device or possibly the internet, head on over to Montrose Monkington TV, where you'll see my escapades, my reviews of wrestling and interviews with wrestlers and other things that I do just as I get about in Canada as a British monkey. You can also join me on Facebook at Montrose Monkington III Esquire and Friends. Thank you. More later.
Wow. Did he just push you aside there?
No, he recorded that earlier this week. I just put that on.
Oh, gotcha.
I told him he doesn't like being in the same room as me.
I've heard that. There's still a lot of tension there, isn't there?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
as long as he keeps paying, I'll keep playing.
We got to get to the bottom of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to mention this right now because we haven't really mentioned this before I hint at the next one. But we're still working out the kinks. But I think coming up, because we're coming up in a couple months on our 1 year as being a podcast. So I think we're going to be doing some kind of awards thing.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'll get on my my best Vera Wang gown and walk the red carpet.
We're gonna have some guests, of course, from some of the movies we've covered. They're all fans of the podcast. They've all decided to show up. We can't invite all of them.
We have nothing but complimentary things to say about the movies they are in.
Yeah. Certain. Well, don't forget about me. Yes, she'll be there too.
She'll be there too. We'll definitely have the Mother Superior.
None from Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Well, if you thought the last category was terrible, the next one's going to be way worse.
Yeah, she's just. We're afraid she's going to take home the awards herself, so we're going to have to put have to keep an eye on her. But I think it'll be fine. Yeah. But yeah, so next episode. Well, I mean, stay tuned for our mailbag next week because we're doing that too now. So mailbag will be up next week. I'll answer questions from you lovely people.
And we'll try to actually reveal the movie in the mailbag this time.
Well, here's the thing. I just figured out, logistically, the movie will have already been revealed by that point.
Oh.
So, we can definitely mention the movie, though, as well.
Of course.
So, for those of you who are not following us on Facebook, god damn it. I'm not bitter. Here's what's coming up. Here's your hint. I want you to watch this movie. That's it.
I want you to watch this movie.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I will, Brendan.
Thank you. It's really cooperative of you.
Well, I mean, considering we have to talk about it, I figure I will.
That would be an awkward episode.
I did not watch it. Go at it, Brendan. I'll make some, interesting noises and whatnot as we go along.
Oh, is that the case? Yeah.
Yep, that's what's going to happen.
Just farting in the background for an hour and a half. Oh, man. This movie just leaves me with I guess, questions.
Well, please, Brendan, expound upon these questions as I may have answers for you.
Well, in a movie where Tan Pants, formerly known as Olive Pants,
right,
and Radahahaha play a couple in a small town. Yeah, that's fairly normal.
Yep, that's
in a movie where the town mayor is possibly more terrifying than the monsters that the crazies that eventually inhabit the town.
I follow. Yep.
And you know what? This movie's pretty awesome. So, I mean, normally I'd say this. What were they thinking?